In this video, we will show some advanced settings that are available with the Vortex MDMF multi-frequency technology. For full transparency, we will place our iron targets on the surface so you can clearly see what we're demonstrating. With Vortex, you have quite a few iron controls to work with. Now, if you're in single frequency operation, a lot of people can take care of their common iron items simply by choosing a different mode, which is essentially a discrim pattern. For example, I have a couple iron nails here on the ground. I'll go over and scan. I'm in 0 in a single frequency, 0 mode. Getting an iron reading. Now I'm going to simply switch over to standard, which employs some iron discrimination. And now the nails are either completely quiet or almost quiet, essentially gone, just by switching to standard mode. So selecting a mode that has some iron discrimination can help eliminate targets like that. But in single frequency, you can essentially do the same thing in 0 mode by using your high-res iron discrimination. So I'm in 0, and here's those nails again. So what I'm going to do, I just tap my menu button and tap up until I get to this icon, 0 to 39 below the horseshoe. That's your high-res iron discrim. And I can push in increments of 1 as high as I want. And if I scan over it, still hearing them. If I release this, they're bouncy, 20s, teens. So I'll probably go back in here and run this up to, let's go to 18. Go back over them. Still picking them up a little bit so I can continue to use high-res iron discrim. I'll go up to, let's say 25 on the iron discrim. Try them again. They're largely quiet now. You still see the numeric reading, but you're not getting the iron response. I just know they're there visually, but I'm not hearing them, except for maybe an occasional pop. With high-res iron discrim, you only want to use as much as you need. You don't want to put the maximum amount in because you could lose a target that's masked. So use as much as you need, just as we showed here, to make them largely quiet. In another video, we will show more on setting up basic iron discrimination and how to effectively use iron audio while in single frequency operation. Experienced hunters know that bottle caps and chunky iron can be especially difficult. They can often sound like good targets because of their shape and size. This next section is all about ferrous menu settings that are available in multi-frequency operation, specifically using the bottle cap reject feature and the iron boundary feature. When you go from single frequency to multi-frequency operation, you have additional iron controls at your disposal. And instead of just eliminating an iron target, you can essentially alter the detector settings to classify a target as more ferrous or non-ferrous. So I'll show you a couple of examples of that. Okay, so I'm in multi-frequency. I'm running in standard mode, which means I've eliminated some iron objects from detection. We've got these same nails here. I'll run back over it, let you hear it in multi. They're largely eliminated, just an occasional pop. But if I add an item like this, like a steel bottle cap, and let's go back over this bottle cap, the nails are largely gone. But the bottle cap sounded like it could almost be a coin target. So here I want to use another one of my iron controls. Hit the menu button. I'll scroll up till I get to this little bottle cap reject icon. You can go 1 to 5, and you want to use as little as needed to get rid of it or break the target up, because you don't want to shift it too much to where you might lose a good coin target and some iron junk. So I'm going to tap it, just go to 1, and I'll push it back, swing, look at it, and see. Back to operation. Still pretty decent, so let's go back in and raise it up a little bit higher. We'll go to 2, we'll try that. Starting to break up a little bit. I'll go to 3. Very broken, choppy, erratic audio. That tells me right there it's not a good coin target. So that would probably be enough. I could obviously put it up to 5 and go back over it. Now it's really terrible. But to use as little as possible, I found that 3 was pretty decent. I'd probably go with that in this park. And it's breaking it up. Maybe even 2 would get it. And I'm getting enough brokenness there that that would probably work for me. So we got the nails out of play. We're in multi. We got the bottle cap out, which is tricky, but there's other types of iron. So some of the iron you might encounter is big, chunky iron, rounded iron, odd shapes like that. Like here's an iron pipe. Let me put this down and show you this. With the Vortex VX9, you have a 3-tiered target ID scale. The lower scale goes 0 to 39, which is your simple or common iron items. Your upper scale is tricky ferrous, like washers, steel bottle caps. So we adjusted that a minute ago, reclassified ferrous and non-ferrous with the bottle cap reject. But now let's go back over this piece of steel pipe that we added, this chunky piece of steel, and it's going to be a different setting, a different reclassification of control we call iron boundary. So let's listen to the nail and the bottle cap. Nails are largely gone. We broke up the bottle cap by using just enough bottle cap reject to take care of that. But now this chunky iron, hitting pretty good in the mid-tone, nice slamming hit. So I'm going to go over here and change the setting on this with my iron boundary control. Tap the menu, tap up, it's on 0. I'm going to try 1 and go back over that pipe. Still pretty good. Let's go back in here and I'll try 3 or so. Go back over this big iron pipe chunk. It's pretty much gone. I might be able to go back in here and set this back to 2 and try it again. Let's see how that does. Just a little bit of a broken response, and to me that's enough broken up. I know that it's not a good coin or a good target. This chart shows the 3-tiered target ID system on a Vortex VX9 when you're in multi-frequency operation. The upper red shaded box shows where some complex or tricky ferrous objects will indicate on your target ID scales. This particular bottle cap in our demonstration reads in the good non-ferrous range. In this next slide, we've added just enough bottle cap reject to reclassify this bottle cap into being a ferrous target that is giving a broken response. Using the more aggressive bottle cap reject setting of 5, notice that the nickel would remain in the good target region. In our demonstration with bottle cap reject at 3, we introduced this chunky iron pipe piece. The Vortex iron boundary setting adjusts your lower ferrous or simple ferrous scale. By setting our iron boundary at 2, we reclassified this iron chunk. Okay, so we've altered a lot of our iron settings here. Still got all these targets in play. I'm gonna bring a coin into the mix. Here's a buffalo nickel. I'm gonna put it right there between those 2 nails. Go back over this pipe up here. That pipe is largely gone, that big chunky steel. Just a little bit of a broken response. Bottle cap is really chirpy and broken. Don't want it completely gone. I don't want to hide mask stuff, because guess what? I can still pick up that buffalo nickel right there in between those nails. Now how about we trade this out and show something else? Let's put a different coin in there. All right, let's pick up this buffalo nickel. I've got a gold coin I'm gonna put in there. Put it right between them, even snug it up pretty tight there. Let me jump up here and go back over this. See if we can get the gold coin between those nails there with all these settings not changed. No problem at all. All right, just for demonstration purposes, I'm gonna pluck that little gold coin out. That's a low conductor, kind of reads low in the conductivity scale. Here's a silver dime. Reads 79, 80, somewhere in that range. I'll drop it in between our little targets there, even bump that nail as close as I can to it. We've got our settings unchanged here. Let's go back over it and see if this pops out of the iron bed. It's reading about 65, 67. It should normally read maybe 15 points or so higher than that. 12, 15 points higher. That's your iron coming into play with that target. Still definitely something you want to investigate. Bottle cap still broken. Chunky iron almost completely gone. Broken bottle cap that's not very responsive. And then some silver in the iron patch. Popping out clean, albeit a little bit lower than normal, but something I'd absolutely investigate in a trashy site like this. Okay, we haven't changed anything on our iron boundary or bottle cap reject settings. Still in multi-frequency in standard mode with some iron discrim in there. Got that nail bed laying right there. I'm gonna pluck that silver dime out, put that back in my pocket. I'm gonna put our little gold coin back in there. And these other items we eliminated, we just showed we can pluck that gold coin out. Here's another chunky piece of iron right here. I'm gonna put that dude right up there close to that nail bed. And let me grab this old chunk of pipe here. I'm gonna bring that dude over here next to it. There's a whole sea of iron. Throw our little bottle cap off in here. There's a bunch of mess that gold coin's in. Let's see if we can still pick it up. I'm just gonna stand up right here. No change in the settings. Let's go back over our little gold coin. There you go. You come over here and take a look at the settings. Nothing's changed. I'm going over it. It's bouncing between 60 and 65, but I've got a whole pile of mess around that. All kinds of iron targets that could mess it up. Now my settings, I'm 2 on this iron boundary. If I go down, I'm 3 on bottle cap. And back here, I'm in standard multi-frequency, going over this gold coin and all this trash. Okay, so we've done a few demos here, and I'm using the 11-inch coil on this to make note of that. You can obviously get smaller size coils when you get your Vortex, and separating trash, good stuff and bad stuff is easier with a smaller coil. But we just showed you how to set up your iron boundary, your bottle cap reject, and different settings. And the best advice I could give on this is create your own little test plots, your own little test bed, set up scenarios that you might encounter with different kinds of iron, different kind of coins, and practice on it till you get better. By learning how to classify and reclassify your ferrous and non-ferrous, you're gonna find more good stuff and bad stuff like that. Good luck.